Hey everyone, Gaijin Goomba here. Well, since everyone's been talking about Overwatch, I decided to dig around and see what there was to see culturally with this game. And of course, my attention was most drawn to the third introductory cinematic Dragons that promoted the game. Honestly, as soon as that video dropped, I had people all over asking me to talk about it, and talk I shall, because I question whether or not Blizzard got the culture right. I mean, you've got two Japanese brothers, Genji and Hanzo, the earlier being a master of ninjutsu and the latter being a master at kyujutsu, or way of the bow. But when I saw this, the only thing I could think of was, did Blizzard's design team get these guys backwards? Let me explain. Hanzo was the name of one of, if not the most recognizable and badass ninjas of all time, Hattori Hanzo. Books, comics, movies, video games, you name it, if it's got Hattori Hanzo as a character, you can expect him to be darting in and out of the shadows with inhuman accuracy, cutting down countless enemies, performing hand mudras, creating supernatural effects, and so on. When you think best ninja ever, you typically think Hattori Hanzo. Now, Genji, on the other hand, who actually is a badass ninja in Overwatch, gets his name from someone, well, completely different from himself. The most famous character that uses that name comes from what's been called the world's first novel, The Tale of Genji, in which the story chronicles the life of the fictitious Prince Hikaru Genji through his life through the Heian period. Though the tale consists of a political struggle in Genji's life, the most constant thing we hear about the character in the book are his dashing good looks and constant, and I mean constant, skirt chasing. From what I could tell in the cinematic, I think it's safe to say that dashing good looks doesn't come anywhere close to Genji of Overwatch. In fact, the horrible creature Genji became after the battle between him and his brother is a pretty big plot point to the story. And out of all the male characters, I think it's safe to say that Hanzo was one of the most handsome, so what's the deal with that? Did Blizzard just take the popular Japanese names Hanzo and Genji and completely disregard the history and legacy behind them? Actually, believe it or not, Blizzard nailed down the character inspirations harder than I'd ever realized, but it was only after the release of the game when I discovered this. To explain, if you dig through the backstory of Genji in Overwatch, you discover that he wasn't always the cool, collected Zen ninja he is today. In fact, before his falling out with his brother and the Shimada clan, Genji lived the good life of a carefree playboy and couldn't care less about his position. And when you look at his young design in game, yeah, he was quite the looker. And here's the kicker, guys. Genji in The Tale of Genji was actually exiled by his half-brother Emperor Suzaku as he was duty-bound to punish Genji for his exploits with other women after their father Emperor Kiritsubo dies. This is exactly what happened to Genji in Overwatch after he and his brother Hanzo's father passed away. It fell to Hanzo to push his brother away from chasing women and focus on the family's illegal business, but when Genji refused, Hanzo killed/unwittingly exiled Genji from the Shimada clan. Hanzo, on the flip side, also has much more to do with his historical counterpart than people realize. See, the name Hattori Hanzo did not belong to just one man. It actually belonged to the person who held the title of head of the Iga Ninja clan. This is why the name has become so full of legend and fantastical stories about inhuman abilities. It's likely that the amalgamation of stories behind Hanzo's name manifests in what society believes to be one kick-ass ninja. But the man I speak of, Hattori Hanzo Misanari, though a leader and knowing full well of the capacities of the Iga Ninja, was not a ninja himself. Instead, he was a brilliant tactician and military commander who grew up in the Tokugawa's home of Mikawa, not Iga. At the Battle of Migatagahara, with his Tokugawa allies fighting 2-to-1 odds, Hanzo calculated a night ambush with only 30 other ninja that sent the enemy Takeda clan running home confused and scared. But his greatest exploit was escorting the soon-to-be shogun Ieyasu Tokugawa stealthily over 114 miles from the heart of enemy lines in Osaka to the safety of his home in Mikawa in 5 days. An insane objective, but Hanzo's tactile movement won out. It was his aggressive and effective strategies, not his skill as a ninja, that earned him the name Oni no Hanzo, or Demon Hanzo. And according to Hanzo's story in Overwatch, what were his strengths? Assassination and, quote, displaying a natural aptitude for leadership and possessing an innate understanding of strategy and tactics. Hanzo may not be a ninja, but much like Hattori Hanzo Misanari, he utilizes ninjutsu tactics on the battlefield on top of his abilities like Sonic Arrow that helps his team strategize for defense or attack. So while on the surface it seems like the development team got their notes mixed up when it came to these two characters, the truth is they nailed the inspirations more perfectly than I believed when I first started playing. So while you're out there killing each other, take time to consider just how much detail went into the character and story development of this game, because I bet there's a lot more here than we give it credit for. But thanks for watching, everyone. And hey, if you're interested in supporting Culture Shock as well as getting $40 worth of Geek Swag for half the price every month, consider subscribing to Loot Crate. These guys have been longtime supporters of my content, and their monthly boxes do not disappoint. For me, my DX box month theme of Power came with great merch from Civil War, Whether you're on Team Iron Man or Team Cap, this crate delivered. But it also provided a sick Skeletor shirt and Street Fighter bag. And this month you can expect awesome dystopian gear from Fallout, Terminator 2, Bioshock Infinite, and RoboCop. So if you want to show your support and net yourself unique geek gear, head on over to lootcrate.com/culture and input the code CULTURE on checkout to get 10% off your purchase. But don't wait too long, the cutoff date for this month's box is the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific. But if you're interested in more Overwatch, click here to check out my top 10 culture references over on my channel, or click here to check out Matt's tackling of real-life Mirror's Edge parkour in his new show Game Lab. But until next time, this is Gaijin Goomba signing out.